Psalm Chapter 1, through the Bible. Part 5. Temptation outside the home. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. Proverbs 1 verse 10. Now the movement is outside the home. When the little fellow goes away, who is the first fellow he meets? Generally, that contact will be with a sinner, because most of the human race falls into that category. They have not come to Christ. All of us are sinners, but the boy will meet the unredeemed sinner who is really living in sin. So, what should his attitude be? Consent thou not. You remember that I said you would find a proverb which would fit characters in the Bible. Probably you can also find a proverb to fit every one of your friends, although you may not want to tell them what it is. This is a proverb that fits someone in the Scriptures. Wouldn't you say it describes Joseph when he was taken as a slave down into the land of Egypt and was enticed by Potiphar's wife? He did not consent to her. This proverb is an example of his experience. If they say, "Come with us, let us lay wait for blood, let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil." Proverbs 1 verse 11 to 13. The sinner has a plan and a program to get something for nothing. He lives off someone else and makes someone else suffer in order that he might prosper. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. Proverbs 1 verse 14. This is the philosophy of the hour. Let's all live out of the same purse. Generally, those who hold this philosophy are doing nothing themselves. They want the working people to share what they have worked for, but they don't have any contribution to make to it at all. That is a false philosophy, but it is one that is common among young people today. It is the thinking and the mood of the present hour. Use all kinds of methods, even crooked methods, to get something for nothing. After my father was killed in a cotton gin accident when I was 14 years old, my mother took my sister and me back to Nashville, which was her home. I had to go to work. I couldn't continue in school because we had no finances at all. I got a job at a wholesale hardware company. They sold practically everything, including candy. I worked in the mailing department with several other boys. I want to tell you, they were mean fellows. They had figured out a way to get into a box of candy and take out just one piece and never be detected. Since it was a wholesale place, there were about 50 boxes, and by taking one piece from each box, they could fill up several boxes for themselves. I must confess that I cooperated that first day, and then my conscience bothered me that night. I thought, this is not right. I was stealing. The next day I made things right, but I couldn't return the candy because I had already eaten some of it. After that, the management would let me buy a box of 6 candy bars wholesale. I would sell them a nickel a bar to the men and women who worked there in the office. That last candy bar was my profit because the whole box had cost me 25 cents wholesale. That was the way I got my candy. I had to work for it, and I felt that was the best way to do it. It is so easy for a young man to fall in with a group that is doing shady things. And it is easy to join in with a group who goof off at work, as they say today. They do not return a full day's work for a full day's wages. It is so easy to cooperate in that type of thing. That is why the young man is given this advice when he leaves home. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. Proverbs 1 verse 15. This is the kind of separation on which the Bible is very clear. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord. 2 Corinthians 6 verse 17 was referring to idolatry, but it certainly can be applied here. Solomon said, "Get rid of that crooked crowd that you're with. For their feet run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net, is spread in the sight of any bird. And they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. Proverbs 1 verse 16 to 18. When you get into that type of thing, it will eventually lead you to your own destruction. You will be caught in your own net. So are the ways of every one that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Proverbs 1 verse 19. This is the condemnation of the beginning of covetousness. We live in a materialistic age today. I have an article here that is written by a PhD, a college professor. He takes the position that colleges must get away from the teaching of crass materialism. Therefore, they must return to religion, as he expresses it. You see, there are a few who are beginning to wake up. Covetousness is the great sin of the hour. That is what the proverb is condemning here.